Greetings all, this is Nick from Those Hairy Gamers, back again to take another look at the X-Wing meta. 2 weeks ago we had the US Nationals, and we've finally had all the information on that filter through. By the way, just a quick shout out to X-Wing List Juggler. This is the site that I get all the information that I make these videos on. I will post the link in the description for that, but basically it's a website database built and maintained by X-Wing fans, and you can upload all the information you want from major tournaments and that kind of stuff, so everybody can see the kind of things that are happening in the meta right now. Everyone can see what kind of things are being played. Anyone can upload information on their local game stores, doesn't just have to be the big tournaments, and it's a really cool site overall. So we're going to take a look at the cut from this tournament, look at the top 16 lists and see what is being flown these days. First of all, the factions. The breakdown of top 16 lists was 7 players played Scum, 7 players played Rebel, and 2 players played Imperial. Pretty much a continuation of what we saw at the North American Champs. Rebels have had a huge surge recently with the Azatec gunship, and they're really taking it to Scum now. They actually seem to have leveled out a bit, not so much Azatec action this time. They're now neck and neck with Scum, and the Imperial's still lagging behind it too. However, I will say those 2 lists were Palp aces, and it's really good to see that list still doing well, even post-Palp nerf. The breakdown of the number of ships used in each faction was we had 5 lists with 2 ships, 10 lists with 3 ships, by far the preferred choice by most players, and 1 little list at 4 ships. That was a Scum Swarm. And of all of those 44 ship used, we had 29 small bases and 15 large. This is a slightly larger ratio of large ships that we saw from the North America Champs, so again, everything's sort of bouncing out again. Scum have had a much bigger presence in this tournament. They're sort of neck and neck with Rebels now, as opposed to being beaten out by Rebels. We have a lot of contractor scouts on the Jump Master that really throw these stats back into balance again. Which is not surprising. The Jump Master is still a very, very potent ship, and it still seems to be prevailing in the current meta. Alright, the list archetypes. The most common one we saw was Fairship Rebels. Makes perfect sense with Lowrick on the Azatec gunship. This list has just become so powerful. Indeed, Lowrick has appeared in a lot of Rebel lists. In fact, I believe most of the Rebel lists here in the top 16 actually had Lowrick in it, which is quite amazing. 3 Mind Link lists. Again, this continues to be a very popular list. Very powerful archetype. Couple of Miranda Nims, couple of Palp aces, and couple of 2 big Scum ships. What surprises me about this is the fact that we only had 1 triple Scurrg list. I expected this to at least have 3 or 4. This is quite a powerful list that's going around these days. This could indicate in the meta a bit of a move away from the generic Scurrg pilot and a move to lists that involve Captain Nim, both on Rebels and Scum. The ship overwhelmingly that was used most was the Jump Master 5000. No surprises here, we had a couple of Dengars and a lot of contracted scouts. We had 6 K-Wings, all of them Miranda Doni, 6 Scurrg bombers, a mix of the different Nims and generics, all that kind of stuff. 4 Lowricks in the Azatec gunship, and 4 Bigs. Again, both of those ships are pretty much an auto add into Fairship Rebel, so not surprising to see a whole heap here. Apart from that, a couple of the oddities, we had 2 Darth Vaders in the TIE Advanced. This is interesting. This is a very, very old ace that still kind of works in the meta. It's interesting that he still makes a showing every now and then, even with much newer, arguably more competitive versions of Imperial Aces. So yeah, that's kind of cool to see. Also, from a personal standpoint, I'm very happy to see 1 little Jakku Gunrunner in his quad jumper. It's a very cool list. It's the Jakku Gunrunner with an Intel Agent and the Space Dug Tractor Array. Just a great little potent 20-point build that I like to fly myself, and it's cool to see 1 of them here in the US Nationals top 16. One thing I will say about the pool of ships we're seeing here is it's very disappointing that we're not seeing the TIE Aggressor. When we had Wave 11 spoiled to us, I really thought this was a ship that was going to push up into the meta. It did not appear in the North American Champs, and it has not appeared in the US Nationals either. It's a real shame in my opinion. I thought it's a really cool concept of a ship. I thought it was a strictly better version of the TLT Y-Wing we've been seeing quite a lot of, so yeah, a bit of a shame there. But at least the other 2 ships from that wave are doing quite well. It's also worth noting that despite the fact that we're seeing 6 Scurrg bombers and 4 Azatec gunships, it does not mean the Azatec gunship is a less popular choice. We're only ever seeing it in lists in one-ofs. And we have a list here at the US Nationals with 3 Scurrgs. So in fact, overall, we have the same amount of lists with the Azatec and the Scurrg bomber, meaning that in the meta, both ships are pretty much neck and neck. So the victor at the 2017 US Nationals was none other than Paul Heaver. Guys, if you don't know who Paul Heaver is, you must not be paying attention to competitive X-Wing play at all. He is the individual who has won the most X-Wing World Tournaments. He's designed several cards as a result of that, including Boba Fett and Boshek and Stay on Target and all that kind of cool stuff. It's not surprising to see him once again take the US Nationals. And the list he flew was Captain Nim, Miranda, Doni. A very, very cool, potent list. When I first saw the Scurrg bombers being revealed, particularly Rebel Nim, this is something that I thought, yeah, Nim and Miranda is going to be something that is a force to be reckoned with. I think currently it's probably the most competitive version of a list that flies Nim. There is Nim and Dengar on the Scum faction as well. I think just in terms of list symbiosis, having Miranda and Nim working together both bombing is just so brutal. And the challenge with bombs is always, if you fly it well, you can do a lot of damage. And there is no player more up to the task than Mr. Paul Heaver himself. The list goes: Captain Nim on the Rebel faction with Veteran Instincts, Twin Laser Turret, Bomblet Generator, Genius, Advanced Sensors, Engine Upgrade, and Havoc. A pretty standard variation on the Rebel Nim builds we're seeing. Sometimes people are playing Push the Limits instead of Veteran Instincts. But apart from that, it's all pretty straightforward. The combination of Genius and Bomblet Generator is just so brutal. The ability to just ram into your opponent's ship and drop a bomb. Yeah, you cop some damage yourself, but against aces, that is just so potent. And with the Rebel Nim, you can also stop the bomb from going off, so it means you're placing your bombs perfectly every time and holding them in position if you don't want them to go off. We've also got advanced sensors, so even if you do bump, you can still take your action, still take a focus or a target lock, or a barrel roll to make sure you get that perfect position every time. A very cool list. Miranda Doni has Twin Laser Turret, Extra Munitions, Sabine Wren, Ion Bombs, Cluster Mines, Thermal Detonators, and Advanced Slam. Cool, 6 bombs, a lot of destruction. This is just so much fun. Miranda with TLT, not much to be said. The ability just works so well with Twin Laser Turret. Sabine Wren is doing so much work in this list. Considering we can use Nim to get our bombs off just when we want them, Sabine Wren is always giving you amazing value. We've got a mix of control with ion bombs and thermal detonators. Not much to say about these, they're both really good solid bombs. And cluster mines for a bit of extra damage if you need to. The advanced slam also means we can take a slam action and then drop our cluster mines, which is kind of cool. But it also means we can take target locks or focus tokens and get Miranda out of dodge when she needs to be. There's not much to say about this list archetype apart from the fact that it is potent, it is powerful. I've personally had my ass kicked by it several times, and it's no surprise to see it take the 2017 US Nationals. And there we have it. That's the breakdown of what happened with the top 16 at the 2017 US Nationals. I just want to finish this video off by making a bit of a plea. FFG, if any of you guys are watching, you guys should be on top of this. You guys who watch this channel know I cover X-Wing and I cover Magic the Gathering. And if you take a look at Wizards of the Coast, the guys that make Magic the Gathering, they are well on top of all of their professional tournaments. They cover what kind of decks we use, they cover the standings for all the different rounds and all that kind of stuff. And right away, on the day, bang, on their website, we have all the information that came out of the major tournaments. FFG don't do this, and I think it's a real shame. I think it would be fantastic if we could see stuff like this on the FFG website. It's great that things like the X-Wing List Juggler exists, and it's great that we have a dedicated fan base that puts this information out there. But the fact of the matter is, I only got all this information a few days ago. It's almost 2 weeks since the tournament happened, and I feel like people are definitely interested enough to see this kind of information on the day. So FFG, if any of you are watching it, get on top of that. It'll do well. You will make more hype for the game. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.